Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad from the third canto, chapter 26, text 29. Tajasat tu vikurvanat buddhi tattvam abhut sati dravya spurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Javyaspurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Javyaspurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Javyaspurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha
Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsate dravyaspurna vijnanam indriyanam anugraha Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Javyaspurana vijnanam indriyanam anugraha
Tejasatu vikurnavat buddhi tattvam abhutsati dravya spurana vijnana mindriyanam anugraha
Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Javyaspurana vijnanam indriyanam anugraha Tajasatu vikurvanat buddhitatvam abhutsati Dravyaspurna vijnanam Indriyanam anugraha.
Tejasatu vikurvana Puritattvam abhutsati Dravyaspurana Vijnanam Indriyanam Manugraha.
Tejasattu vikurvanat buddhi tattvamabhutsati dravya sphurana vijnanam indriyanam anugraha.
Jatasattu Vikrana Buddhitatvamaputsati Travaispurana Vartanam Indrinatyam Adruhaha.
Serve time aside from false ego and passion. 2, then, become undergoing transformation. Ability, intelligence. Tattvam, principle. Abhut, took birth. Sati, or virtuous lady. Dravya, objects. Spurana, coming into view. Began, return. To the senses. Anugraha, giving assistance. Translation. By transformation of the false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth of the virtuous lady. The functions of the intelligence are to help in ascertaining two objects and to help the senses. Purport.
Intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object, and it helps the senses make choices. Therefore, intelligence is supposed to be the master of the senses. Perfection of intelligence is attained when one becomes fixed in the activities of Krishna consciousness. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded, and the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness.
There's
What was it?
Zimmer.
Yeah, this is just extras.
The transformation of the false ego or passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady, the functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of objects when they come into view and to help the senses. And the intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object and helps the senses make choices. Therefore, intelligence is supposed to be the master of the senses. There's an example given in this. If one can picture a man riding in on a chariot or some kind of a cart. And the cart is being pulled by 5 horses, and the reins are attached to the horses, to the mouth, and they come up and they're held by the hand of the driver. And then there's a passenger. Next to the driver is a passenger. So the 5 horses represent the 5 senses. That means tongue, taste, touch, smell, form or sight, and hearing. Those are the 5 senses. And they represent 5 horses. 5 horses are all very strong. And to control them, one has to have reins. If there's no reins, then the horses will pull in different directions and it'll be a catastrophe. So the reins are important. And the reins are the mind. Because the mind, the 3 subtle elements are mind, intelligence, and false ego. So they're all together, the subtle. Thinking power, as described here nicely, discriminating power. So the best discriminator among the 3 is the intelligence. Because the intelligence is higher than the mind. The mind takes the data or the urges invoked by the 5 senses. But the senses don't know how to even, they don't even know how to get the sense gratification by themselves. They have to be directed. And the direction comes from the intelligence, which is represented by the driver in that example. The driver is the intelligence. That's who you want to be driving the chariot. And the passenger is the soul. So the intelligence is the driver of the chariot. The senses are controlled by the reins, which is the mind. The intelligence decides which way is the right way to go. Without intelligence, we don't know which way to go. We may be very good at going quickly, very fast. Sometimes we go at breakneck speed on the highway, but we go the wrong way, wrong direction, then we get an accident. And the passenger, he's simply being carried along. So he's the soul. The soul is the real person. The body is not the person. Sometimes different philosophers say that the person, the being, is a combination of body and the soul. Or the body and the mind. They have a difficult time ascertaining what are the distinctions there. That's because the understanding of the first one, the soul, is so important. If one understands that, then you can understand all the philosophy. All philosophy becomes easy. All science is easy. Everything becomes easy. And if one doesn't understand the soul, everything becomes difficult. Just like they're trying to have big debates. Should the embryo in the womb be allowed to be aborted? They have long debates because they can't determine when and if if there's anyone alive there. If it's all matter, which science says there's no such thing as anything beyond matter. They don't accept it. They say nothing is beyond matter. Because if something is beyond matter, they don't know what it is. And they're afraid that then they'll enter into some field of what they call faith. You enter into faith and mythology, because they don't have any substantial understanding of the soul, or Yatma in Sanskrit. Yatma refers primarily to the soul. It can also refer to the intelligence and the mind, but primarily it's the soul, the living entity. What's the difference between a living body and a dead body? Yeah, you're both right. That something's not there. And science cannot tell us what isn't there. They can postulate that there's a good chance there's something alive, something makes it alive. But they don't know what it is. If they knew what it was, they say, we know what it is. We know it. Or if we don't know what it is, at least we know it's not a soul. It's not something non-material. It must be matter. That's the conclusion. It must be matter. Why? Because there's nothing else. Why? Because we don't perceive it. We can't perceive anything else. So what would be the five senses? They can perceive smell, taste, touch, form, but how do they perceive consciousness? Well, when someone's conscious, they can interact. You can have a conversation with them. They can do. They can think. Their mind works for thinking. When the living entity is not there, the mind doesn't work. You can sit there and say, "What are you thinking about?" Well, speak, because he's not there. Therefore, he can't use his mind. Or smelling, he can't breathe anymore. It's all dependent on that one living creature. That's the one. And if you understand that, then the body works beautifully. It works so seamlessly and so brilliantly that we even think it's happening automatic. You can't imagine how anyone could put together such a machine. But the really bright scientists, they go further, such as Einstein. He said, the more I study, the more I understand how science works, the more I can understand there's a great brain behind this universe. That's good thinking. That's speculation also. But that's good speculation. It's in the way of goodness. He can understand that there must be something, some great brain behind this. Otherwise, things like this don't happen by. Even a Rolex watch doesn't just happen by itself. If someone asks you, how long will it take for all the material ingredients of a Rolex watch all on the table? What are some of the ingredients of a Rolex watch? Some glass, gears, yeah, maybe a little metal. What else? Quartz. What else? Battery, that's a good one. How's a battery going to come together by itself? If you leave all the constituents of the battery on the table, how long will it take for the battery to come and starts doing what it does? You can sit there forever. It'll never happen. Now, there's a debate going on. And the debate is that whether given enough time, all the constituents of the battery, or even all the constituents of the universe, will at one point come together and create life. We know that that's one group, they say that must happen. Because they say the probability, the law of probability, will indicate that given enough time, I mean, maybe a long time, I admit. Could be a long time. But there's got to be one great moment when it happened. And you say, why did it have to be a great moment when matter became alive? Why is that? That's not logical. That's not logical because the battery's not alive. There's nothing in the battery or in the universe other than something non-material. Non-material means it lasts forever. It's never born and it never dies. The soul's never born, never dies. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a living being. It has to be those qualifications. Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, very lucidly, how Dehinosmin yata dehi komaram jomaram ta dehantar praptir jiras tatra namoyati. The soul lives in the body, and the body changes from boyhood to youth to old age. But at the time of death, the soul leaves the body and goes into another body. But he doesn't die. He's living on in a different body. Self-realized soul can understand this because he's seen the truth. So this is the value of having transcendental knowledge. It gives one the ability to understand everything. It's great to be able to understand everything. You think the universities would be overjoyed to get such knowledge because they're supposed to want to know everything. Those who go to the universities are looking for the ultimate knowledge. Supposed to be. Now they may be looking for just money. Money is considered to be the ultimate knowledge now. If you have money, then you have everything. And all. Because you can afford to pay for the pro version of ChatGPT. If you have money, you can have that. So you can have knowledge. If you have enough money, you can get some help, get through college easier, get the degrees, get the job with money, you can attract the women, you can get good cars, everything, good health insurance. So money seems to be the key point in life. My grandfather told me that money is God. He was interested in making money. You could tell that. He's a businessman. But it's not corrected that money is God. Money is, we say in Sanskrit, Lakshmi, fortune. The that comes from goddess of fortune. She's the consort of God. That you can say. You can say God is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Mara. So that means God has all the wealth for his enjoyment, and everything belongs to him. So they're right. They know there's something in money, some gold or whatever feature you take it in. But there's always a person behind it. Money has value, can be used properly when there's a person there. Everything can be used properly. It's like this universe. It's every day, there's a 24-hour cycle, approximately. And the sun, we learn from Vedic cosmology, the sun is going around on its orbit on top of Manasotwa mountain. It's a circular mountain. It goes around the inner core of the universe. And the sun travels on his chariot. 7 horses. And he's pulled around this chariot, has strong horses. And he's riding on it, and he has another connection to the pole star, Ruloka. So he has 2 connections. One is to the pole star, the other is to the chariot of the sun god. It's going around, and it completes 1 full revolution around its orbit in 24 hours. That's called 1 day. 1 day of ours. And it has another instruction that's been given how to fulfill its obligation for arranging sunlight and all the things that sun has, not just light, all the energies that come from the sun have to be distributed throughout the universe. Otherwise, the universe won't work. So that's a 6-month cycle. Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. 2 6-month cycles where the sun is going up. Uttarayana means as it's going around, it's gradually going up. And then when it reaches the top, then it starts going down. Still. So 6 months going up, 6 months going down. 1 year of the demigods equals 1 day. 1 year of the humans, people on our planet, 6 months. 6 months of our time, 1 day of the demigods' time. So this is a very great system, and how it's working is amazing. That's Chakshuresha Savita Sakalagahan. Raja Samasta Murti Shesha Teja. Yasyagaya Pramati Samvita Kala Chakro. Obindamari Purusham Tamaham Yami. Sun God is ordered. You go on this route every day and every year. And he lives for a long time. Not as long as Brahma, but he lives a long time, at least the day of Brahma. So the sun has to carry out the instructions of Govinda. Krishna is the ultimate controller. And he's telling everyone what they should do, and everyone has to follow. And if they follow, everything goes very nicely. So we'd like to, you want to read another verse, or someone would like to? It's time. So we'll stop now. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.